Life is a journey, not a destination, and I'm weaving the web. I'm weaving the cosmic web, and every day I weave the cosmic web.
It's very simple. The plant will tell you.
So full of energy that I couldn't stop talking. I was unstoppable.
Success bring you abundance. It is your connections only have power over you if you react to them. The language of the universe really is just to be authentic. Afraid to ask for what you want. That's the thing.
You can do it. It's possible to do it like this. It's a life hack.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that 20 years ago that my biggest dream can come true? When I have read the book, when I read this book, Mind Power, I was impressed and I imagined that one day I will actually be a participant of your course. But today I'm sitting here, and not just sitting with him, but with Silvia, with the amazing wife of John. So it's just something like royalty, jackpot. Thank you so much that you agreed to take part in this interview.
Thank you very much. You're very kind.
I'm very glad to see you. I really wanted to show you what neurographics is, and I really wanted to talk with you about your trainings, about your life, about your books, how you managed during all this time, during 30 years, to keep your love. But I also wanted to show you neurographics, and I want to show it particularly to you because everything you describe in your books, and I have read all of them, so everything you teach us at your courses, it's very similar to neurographics, but neurographics is a visual image, visual way, as if you have drawn your book. You will understand what I mean in a second. So I really dream about the following, that this method would be available to all people around the world when family constellations became popular and so on and so forth. So that is why I really want to show you, so that you will really show to other people what it is. Neurographics is a way to work with subconscious through fine motor skills. When children are young and small, doctors actually recommend to work do something by hand so that new neuronal paths would appear. So basically, with time, neuroplasticity of brain is not changing, and we still continue doing that. So we basically can use it and do it in any age, and we can use new lines and new forms, and we can draw any thought, and we can really put it as a picture on our sheet of paper, and we will manifest it safe in life and materialize. I've been doing this basically for 4 years. This method is young; it's only 10 years old. The author is Pavel Piskarev. Pavel, thank you so much. He's a doctor of psychology. So, and millions of people are using it. Only I have millions of students. So during these 4 years, all my dreams have come true. It's fantastic. And actually my Instagram has grown. Now I have more than 7 million people on social media. And I also got a lot of rewards, and my income has increased 50 times. So it's a very practical method. We really make our dreams come true. So I've been thinking for a lot of time what topic we can draw, what theme we can choose together today for our drawing today. We can choose any topic: health, happiness, income. So, but I was thinking to draw the algorithm of gratitude with you. What do you think? Does it resonate with you?
Gratitude?
Да.
Yes, yes.
Can I just share something with you? Today in Canada is a very special day. It's called Thanksgiving Day. Once a year, today, we have a day that we give thanks for everything that we have in our lives. So it's very appropriate, I think.
Wow, that is so great.
It's one of our favorite holidays, more famous than, more special than Christmas, because it's a day of giving thanks and gratitude. And so this in Canada, this is today, right now.
Can you imagine? You will actually have this picture where all your gratitudes will be here on this piece of paper. We also have a kind of a secret. We will also say thanks to the past, the present, and future for the things that we want to come into our lives. How neurographics work? Just a couple of minutes. If it is your first time to draw neurographics, it doesn't matter what language you're talking, no matter where you're from. So I will just show you basic rules, because John and Sylvia also don't know them. And during this drawing process, we'll communicate, I will ask you some questions. And if you want to draw for free this algorithm, algorithms. You will be a quick QR code, and there will be link here. There will be also the links to John's social medias and John's Telegram channel. So all links you will find in the description under this video. So we need to know just two rules, talking about theory. First of all, the Neurographics has a kind of an alphabet. These are three shapes: square, triangle, and round, and also a line. There are basically four shapes, and we can talk to our subconscious, actually build sentences and deliver our thoughts. As Jung has taught, symbols are more understandable for our subconscious as speech and writing. Like more than 1,000 years ago, people drew different pictures in the caves. So, and for our subconscious, all these forms are more understandable than anything else. Triangle is a conflict shape. It's like challenge, it's like movement, and we draw triangles when we really want to do something we haven't done before, like increase income, get some new position, get to some rating and hit lists. But we never draw triangles for health and relations because it's really sharp. Square symbolizes something stable. It's like a house, like a kind of a brick. So, and the third form is this circle. It's like the shape of God, of everything what is perfect, happiness. And we have lines. What do you need to know about lines? As you have already mentioned, comfort is actually the enemy of changes. As if you don't know, I visited the retreat. It was amazing. It was an event that really splits your life into before and after, and I actually wrote down this idea. And usually we live like this, up and down, up and down. We eat the same food, we think the same thoughts, we behave in a very habitual way. But if we want to create a new neural path in our brain with using fine motor skills, we really need to show line which is very different from one part to each other. It's different at every part. What we should do, we really control it, but when you see that you want to go up, do it into another direction. When you see that it goes left, go right. So this is the main thing in neurographics, is to draw this line in such a way that it wouldn't be in the usual way. You should behave differently. As if you're just choosing the different way to work, you try a new dish, it's a new neuronic connection. And when there is the interjection, yes, between these lines, we have four corners. But the corners, you remember, is a conflict. That is why for our subconscious, every line has its meaning. For example, if you were drawing the income increase, for example, this is the thought that I want the income 10 times more, and this is the line which represents who am I, how can I do it, and when they cross each other, there is this inner conflict, and we visualize them actually, basically we see these four corners. And what we really need to do in neurographics is to curve the interjections, to round these corners. So these are two lines, and our task is really to round the corners and to color them, because at this moment, when we really round this sharp corner, we basically have like semicircle, and our thought thinks this is like the perfect shape, like as if our mind has actually fixed everything and there are no any inner conflicts anymore. And now you can just follow your goal, you can try to reach your goal, and now it's there's nothing that can prevent us from success. That's all you need to know. And now let's start drawing. What we need to do to draw any theme, we first need to write it down, and you need to take a felt tip pen and you need to write the word gratitude in your language. Just write it down. Gratitude. It is called the actualization of the topic. It's like free writing. This is what you have taught us. And within 2 minutes, we'll have to write all the words that will represent everything that you're grateful to the world to. So it can be happiness, maybe the fact that you're teaching people, everything that you're thankful to the world to. You need to write everything. By the way, girls, those who are writing with us, you can also write things that you will be grateful to the world in the future, but you will say thank you to the world right now, because in the world there is no time. You can write down what you are thankful for in your future life, like getting married, giving birth to a child. You write everything that you're grateful for in the past, present, and future. We have 2 minutes, and just like, separate words, all your gratitudes.
Well, the very first thing I have to give gratitude for is Sylvia. There's Sylvia.
Oh my God.
That's the very first thing and the very last thing. Sylvia.
During this retreat, we spent 5 days observing this relationship, and today we have a unique situation when Silvia is really with us. It's the first time, and today we'll ask all these women's things and questions, and it's the first time I see such a relationship. 20 more words within 2 minutes. Let's try it as fast as you can. Let's start.
What am I doing? 20 words of gratitude.
Write down things that you're grateful for.
Got it.
If only you knew how happy I am right now to write such words in this space and field.
Look at this.
You need to put it away, but you need to see them. And now on this sheet of paper, you need to draw from 5 to 9 circles. Yes, on this sheet of paper. For example, you're gratitude to Silvia, and you can draw a circle which will represent Silvia. Your gratitude to teachers, it's another circle. These circles can overlap. They can be of different size. For example, I'm grateful to the world for my health, and I'm drawing this shape. If it is not very perfect, it's not a geometry, no worries. I mean, it is that. It's still a circle. Like gratitude for love.
It has to be one of the shapes.
The circle.
You choose a word, and to each word you somehow draw a circle. Only circles. My gratitude to health, my gratitude to love, my gratitude to my family. For my family. My gratitude for my mission. And you think about your gratitudes and express your gratitude in such a way that you really like. Minimum 5 shapes, but not more than 9.
Так.
And not all the words.
No, from 5 to 9 words. Oh, look, so small, very small gratitude.
Yeah, no, small because private and secret.
In secret. I think that's enough for me. And you can put away your words. Sylv has a very big scale, big circles, so much gratitude in this heart. Okay, what we need to do now, from age to the age of the piece of paper. You need to draw these neural lines, a lot of neural lines, up and down, from different sides, but the main idea is that they need to cross each other. Yeah, exactly. Great, John. As if you were born with a felt pen in your hand. Let me see what Silvia does. Yeah, good. Okay, the number of lines actually influences your result. The more lines you have, the more interjections you have. That means there are more limitations. And you love the more these interjections, it means the more inner confidence you can work with the help of this curving. The main idea now is also for people who are watching us right now that you shouldn't leave all the circles. You need to really touch every circle. Great. Perfect. Okay, now let's start our conversation. And while we are talking, I suggest you to curve all corners. You need to round all corners. While we're talking, I will actually have a look and see if you're doing everything correctly. No, John, wait a second, I'll show you one more time. Not exactly like this. So look, we have this corners, and you need to round them so that it will be like semicircle. And you do it in this way, but it should be done differently, as if you have a circle here. Oh, Silvia does everything correctly, yes? Okay, let me start with the first question to John.
The universe talks
What language does the
in
universe talk to us with?
And it is a very, very beautiful language because everything in the universe understands it. Even it doesn't understand, it feels the vibrations. Nature feels the vibrations. We feel the vibrations. So it speaks in the language of vibrations, yes.
And how can we, with this language of vibration, deliver our thoughts to the universe? If we want to share our gratitude, if we want to ask for something, if we want to interact with the universe, what vibrations do we need to have?
Well, you talk to the world in whatever vibration you wish. If it's a gratitude vibration, you speak with gratitude. If it's an abundant vibration, you speak with abundance.
Different emotions have different vibrations, right?
Yes.
Are there vibrations which are unpleasant to the universe? Some emotions which are unpleasant to the universe?
Yes. The universe likes to be in harmony and flowing. And anything that is too rigid, anything that is too selfish, anything that is angry or anything emotional that is not flowing and loving and in gratitude is uncomfortable. Yeah, uncomfortable with the universe.
Can any person learn how to talk to the universe and show and ask for some ideas and wishes?
Yes, the universe is always listening to us, and it's always giving us the things that we are responding to. And the language of the universe is just to learn to speak the language of the universe really is just to be authentic. Just to be authentic with your feelings, with your the universe wants you to be authentically you. That's what it wants. More than anything else, it wants to be authentically you. It wants to see you. It wants you to come out. It doesn't want you to try and be like somebody else. It's created you unique and given you the skills and talents to be unique. And that's what it wants. That's what it wants from you. Am I doing this right? Is this right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Like this.
Yeah, okay, good.
Then what prevents people from becoming more successful, richer? Of course, you're already at such level of mindfulness when most time of our retreat and our training, we talk about very spiritual things, and John mentioned that it's not very interesting for me to tell you how to make 1 million. But audience who will watch us, unfortunately, hasn't covered all these basic needs. They still need money, they still need to solve some problems, a child to kindergarten, change job. What shall a person start with? Who trusts you, who read your books, or maybe even hasn't read a book, but still there are no results in their lives. What shall we start with?
Well, the universe is wired for success. Everything in the universe is trying to be successful. A flower growing from the ground is trying to be successful. A tree tries to be successful. A bear in the woods, or a deer, an ant going across the ground. The moon going through its cycles, the galaxies unfolding. Everything in the universe wants to be successful, tries to be successful, and the laws of the universe are designed to facilitate each and every one of us to be successful. Where we fall in difficulty is that we don't always understand what success is for us. We get caught up into the cultural memes of what it means to be successful. And so it is a matter of looking deep within yourself to decide, well, how do you define success? What is success to me? And then once you have a clear definition of success, to realize that you don't have to do it alone. In fact, trying to do it alone will make it much more difficult. You want to open yourself up to the forces and energies of the universe, to realize that you're not separate. You see, this is a mistake, thinking, oh, we're separate, we're alone, nobody else there to help me, it's me against the world. No, 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 the universe is there. The universe is there to help you every step of the way. And so as you trust your own natural abilities, then you will attract success to you. But you're not alone.
Could you tell me, please, about the quantum physics and how modern researchers and different conclusions of scientists help make our dreams come true? As if earlier in the past, all we knew is this: there is a law of attraction, there is materialization of thoughts, but as far as I know, and after the training and reading your books, I know that there are already a lot of scientific evidence of that.
Yeah, for the longest time, religion and science, it was like they were on opposite poles from one another. One is very intellectual, one is very scientific, the other is very spiritual. And they were thought to not be saying the same thing. But now, with quantum physics, we realize that they are saying the exact same thing. The great religions, all at their basis, are teachings about consciousness and teachings about how to get the mind, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Islam, whether it's Kabbalah, whether it's shamanism. They all teaching that we are connected to everything and we are one with everything. And before we had quantum physics, this seemed too abstract because it defied our senses, because we only have to look around and see, well, I'm not you, you're not me, I'm not the cameraman. I mean, we're all different. And it's true, we are all different in the dimension of time and space. But what quantum physics teaches us is that beyond the dimension of our senses, there is another reality. And in that other reality, even though you can't see it, we are all connected into a giant web of energy where we're all interconnecting with each other all the time. And that's very reassuring to know that you're not alone in this. And And those of you that are watching this right now, I mean, how more reassuring can it be in life to know that you're not alone? You are not alone. You have everything that you could want, everything that you could hope for, all the answers, all the questions, all the difficulties you're going through right now. Those will be resolved as you reach within and trust what comes to you, because ask and you will receive is a sacred law. You know, you have to ask. Now, you have to also have a concept of it. It can't just be, well, what am I asking, you know? You're asking the universe, and that's another thing, is you can call it whatever you want. You can call it God, you can call it the universe. I like to call it the mystery. That's what I like to call it, the mystery. And so the mystery, that takes away all ideas of what it has to be. It means that you cannot know what it is, and that's fine.
By the way, I actually have a real evidence that proves that we're all connected with each other. Basically, we are drawing about some other people. It comes true about this. For example, I can draw neurographics about the situation that my child will recover, and the child who's 7 years old will recover. So it's really amazing that it influences other people. So when I was starting to draw neurographics, I didn't understand how it works, but then I understood that we're all interconnected. And really, when we can draw some things that we can't affect directly, but somehow it works. Okay, John, could you continue drawing? I will talk a little bit with Silvia.
I need a finer pen. Can I have a little finer one? The finest one. Finest one. Oh, okay, there we go.
It's magic from another side.
Ask and you will receive. See? Now, and that's a very, very good point. You see, I was struggling a little bit with this. If I didn't ask, it was so simple. You just turned it. That is a symbol and metaphor for our life, is you must ask. You must trust and ask that you will get the answer.
Why, by the way, why do you call this a sacred law? Ask and receive. Why do you call it a sacred law?
I call it a sacred law because it comes from the Bible. It comes from the teachings of Jesus. And we must remember that all these teachings are 2,000 years old. And they were taught to the people of those times, very simple people, and so all the parables had to be done in a way that they could understand them. I feel that Jesus was a great master. I'm not a Christian, but I can recognize the master, and if he was teaching now, he would say prayer is like creating code in a computer, or prayer is like creating algorithms that will draw from the universe different aspects to you, and so one of the great teachings of Jesus, actually, and of Buddhism and Taoism as well, is ask and you will receive. Is do not be afraid to ask for what you want. And when you ask, you must also believe. You must also believe that this request is being heard, and not only being heard, but being acted upon. And that belief in itself will set up algorithms. It'll set up algorithms that from the trillions of connections out there will begin to attract to you the things that you want. It's actually set up perfectly for us to get what we want. That's why I love I've been teaching it almost for 50 years. And my students number in the tens of millions, and the results that I've helped people with is just extraordinary. And so I try to make it very simple for people, you know, very simple, not complex, very simple, and they get results.
Thank you very much. It's amazing. Now, when did you meet John? Was he already a famous coach, or was it a time when he was just starting? I know that was 30 years ago. Why I'm asking this question? I really want to understand how much is the contribution of a woman to the success of a man. How do you think you influence this process?
Well, we met 31 years ago, and it was an absolute fluke how we met. It was almost a miracle because at that time I was 33, and my sister flew in from Key West to come visit me in Vancouver, and she flew in on the Sunday. And that very same day, a long-term boyfriend I had for 7 years was giving me, he'd been asking me to marry him for a long time, but I could never give him an answer. I could never say yes. And so that day, we went for a walk and he said, "What is your answer?" And I said, "I'm sorry, I can't give you an answer yet. I need more time." And he told me, "Well, I will give you your answer. That's it. Our relationship was finished." And my response was like the weight of the world was off my shoulders. It was the best feeling I ever had. My sister flew into town. I went home and I said, "Let's go out and celebrate. I feel like a free woman." So I went. And so it was the Sunday, and so I talked to a woman at work, and I asked her, I said, where do people go to party nowadays? I was 33 at the time and finished with my party days going to bars, and so she said, "Oh, well, there's this place in Vancouver called Bar None, but you have to go on Wednesday. It has to be a Wednesday." And so Wednesday it was. My sister and we went to this bar, and it was still quite early. It was about 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock, and there weren't too many people there. And we were standing there, and a man came and stood beside me, and he asked me, he said, "Oh, do people dance here?" And I said, "I don't know. It's my first time here." And I started explaining to him that I'm here with my sister, and I didn't know where to go, so the three of us are here. We're here to celebrate. I didn't tell him why, but I said, we're here to celebrate, and the three of us are here. And he said, "Oh, isn't that interesting? I'm here with an out-of-town guest, and I didn't know where to take him, so I asked my friend where to go, and he brought me here." So we ended up dancing that night, and we kind of danced similar, and we had a lovely time, and we exchanged numbers, and this man who stood beside me was this man here, and it happened very, very fast, very fast. Within a week, the first week I was at work, and he sent me 7 roses. "Happy anniversary, sweetheart." And I go, "Who is this guy?
Oh my God, that's so romantic.
Such a romantic. And he just swept me off my feet. I had no idea who this guy was. He told me he was an author, and I said, "Oh, isn't that interesting? My last boyfriend was an author. I guess I'm just attracted to authors." And so that's when our relationship started. He proposed to me about 7 months later, and we got married 14 months later.
For 7 months, yes, it takes. I see that John is so inspired by you. We always like very much that John always speaks about you, about the best woman, with a lot of different words like beautiful, amazing, and so on. We were all smiling. But the main question was, does a woman influences the success of a man?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
What kind of woman should be so that your man would grow?
It's a partnership. A marriage is a partnership. And you always attract, in the correct alchemy, you will always attract the perfect partner for you. Not that they're perfect, but it will be the perfect partner. And what I mean by that is they will complement your personality. And I don't mean by compliments, like as John compliments me, but I mean they add to you. It's a partnership, and they make you better, and you make them better, and two people will be better than the one person. You become better and fuller and wholer.
Thank you so much. It is a question to John. John mentioned, you mentioned about that. When we went to your retreat, you asked us not to talk about past and future. And for me, it was the first time in my life, the first experience that we were without devices, without telephones, but to talk about the past and the future, and that it was forbidden. It was so unusual for me not to share some success, so on and so forth, not to boast. I liked it so much, but I really want to understand why we actually did these exercises, how often can we do this, or is it just the way of life, not to talk about past and the future?
Well, the jewel of life is this very moment. Life is a journey, not a destination, and too often we have all these goals about what we're going to achieve or what we want in our life, or I will be happy when I meet the man of my dreams, or I'll be happy when I'm rich, and we're always thinking about the future, projecting about the future, or talking about something that's happened in the past. And when that becomes a habit, you forget that the real essence of life always is this moment, right now. And the more that you can let each day be sufficient unto itself, without needing your life to be perfect, without having to have the $1 million or the perfect relationship, just allowing the everyday occurrences of conversations, nature, reading a good book, watching a funny video, whatever, just letting the little things touch you. It becomes a habit, and we have fallen into bad habits, and the bad habits is not appreciating each day. So by taking away, in the workshop that you spoke of, by taking away the phones, taking away talking about the past or the future, we were forced to just be in the present and talk about our feelings, talk about what's going on around, and just sitting around the table, talking, having conversations, not on the phone, not checking stuff. It's not like it's one's good and one's bad. It's just because that's the way we normally live. To take that away for 5 days was very powerful. And I mean, you experienced it yourself.
I had this feeling that I haven't rest for a year. Yesterday I had a webinar for my students, and at some point my husband tells me, please speak a bit slower, because I was so full of energy that I couldn't stop talking. I was unstoppable. And it's just 5 days without past and future. Just the moment when you actually permitted us to discuss our past and future and to talk about who we are, I actually decided to leave a little bit. I didn't want to talk about who was who. I really liked this mode. For the first time in my life, I was not judging people by their achievements. It's something incredible. For the first time, it's actually such a simple task, but it's fantastic. It was cool.
And of course, we would never do that on our own. You know, we never do that. We just forget to do that. But because that was one of the stipulations of the workshop, you were forced to do it. And then at the end of the 5 days, when everyone gets their phones back, most people, no, I don't want to give me. It's very refreshing.
On my telephone, I actually set the restriction of my screen time. I could spend a lot of hours, basically the whole day, on social media. Well, it looked like work, but basically I wasted my time. Now I have this notification, that's all, your time is up. Okay, hooray, I can read a book. I have one more question to John. I have such a problem. I have taken your course, I have read your book, and you recommend to observe and notice thoughts in your mind, that we can control them somehow. We need to realize that they think some thoughts and we can choose what thoughts to think, what not. It helps me, and it works with positive thoughts. I can think of some development, growth about my dreams, but it's difficult for me to cope with fears. When I get really trapped by some fear, it's just difficult to stop. Is there some technique, some piece of advice which will help me to deal with negative thoughts? How to stop them? For example, I can be afraid that my child will get sick. I have a popular fear that when we buy some trip, we buy tickets for the whole family, and then I get scared that something might get wrong, somebody might get sick, something will go wrong, there will be some really difficult situation.
This is probably a perfect opportunity to let your viewers know, of course, I have an online training and a 6-week online training that teaches all the different methods of how to get control of the mind and have the mind working for you. And in the very first lesson, we talk about negative thoughts and the 4 techniques for eliminating negatives. And so when you understand them, you're able to use them very effectively in your life. But let me just, for the viewers, give them a very simple technique about negatives. And once you once you understand this, you are 75% of the way of getting rid of all negatives in your life just by understanding this next point that I'm going to share with you. And that is that negatives only have power over you if you react to them. So when you're thinking a negative thought, it's not the negative thought in itself that is destructive or overpowering. It's your reaction to the negative. So if a negative thought comes to you, and this is what we teach in the training, that when a negative thought comes to you and you can just notice it and you can say, oh, I'm thinking a negative thought right now, and become aware that I am thinking a negative thought, then you can move into the choice of, do I continue thinking this negative, or do I want to eliminate this negative? And if you wish to eliminate it, as I said, there's 4 good techniques for eliminating negatives. But when you don't realize that you're thinking a negative thought, that your mind just thinks you, and the mind takes over. The mind, if it's not trained, will just think whatever thoughts it wants, whenever it wants, however it wants, and you have no control over that. And another thing that I teach right in the beginning of the training is you're not your mind. You see, we think that we are our mind, and we think that every single thing that our mind thinks is true. It's like gospel truth. Your mind is not you. It is only a part of you. And your mind is the great trickster. And your mind will trick you and fool you and limit you in so many different ways. But once you understand that you're not your mind, and you understand that negatives get their power from you, it's your reaction, and you cease to react, and you become very creative with your thoughts, it's quite easy to eliminate negative thoughts when you know how to do these things. If you don't know how to do them, you're caught in your mind.
It looks like my relationship with cakes. I follow good nutrition, eating good habits, and then I wake up and I eat borscht soup with cakes. So the main thing is like really to notice these negative thoughts. Sometimes I can't understand whether this thought is real or whether it's resistance. I can give you an example. You've mentioned a lot that you really listen to your body, that body really gives us all the answers, it knows the truth. But sometimes you just don't want to go to some meeting, or you don't want to go to the gym, or you just don't want to get up. How to understand whether your body tells you not to do it and you really don't need to go there, or you are just lazy and you don't want to learn something new? Is there some way to distinguish between these two things?
Yeah, it's a practice. It's a practice, and when you set yourself an objective or you set yourself a goal or an intention, you realize that in itself will be a journey, and it will not be a perfect journey. Sometimes you will not be able to act upon your best intentions. That's okay. Nothing has to be 100%. So the minute that we make it 100%, then the least little time we don't reach that, we beat ourselves up and we put ourselves down. And so whether it's exercise, whether it's a diet, whether it's a new health regime, is you make the intention to follow it through 90%. Not 100, but 90%. And actually, there are some coaches, especially with when you're changing your diets, that encourage you once a week to purposely eat something that's not healthy, like a chocolate bar or a piece of cake or something. And you say, well, why would I do that? I'm trying to change my whole diet. And the reason that you're doing it is it kind of lets off some steam. It allows a little bit of the discipline to relax a little bit. There's an old saying that the bow kept taut all the time will break. And so you must balance all these things so that you are disciplined, but not over-disciplined. And you indulge yourself sometimes. And so anytime you try to do something 100% perfect, it almost always will backfire on you. So don't aim for 100%. Aim for 85%, 90%. You'll be more successful that way.
It's a great idea. It's a kind of an insight for me. Okay, the last question to Silvia. Silvia, are there any rules or rituals in your family that keep you be closer in your family, or in general, maybe you have particular rituals or habits within your family?
I would say it would be our morning ritual. We wake up in the morning, and John always prepares the coffee. And
oh, it's so sweet.
Yeah, that's what he does. He always prepares the coffee, and we are in our bedroom, and he sits in the chair and I sit up in the bed, sometimes on the couch, but usually in the bed. And we drink our coffee and we will stay there for the first hour or however long. And we talk.
Without any phones, without any TV.
Just whatever, without, yeah.
Yeah, no TV, no phone.
About, maybe dreams we had, or we just talk. And it's probably the most inspirational time of the day that we have. It's a magic time for us. And sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 3 hours, but there's never a time limit on it. Unless, of course, there's an appointment or something. Mm-hmm. But that's probably our number one ritual, is our morning ritual.
Pray. And we pray. Every meal that we have, before we eat it, we say a little prayer of gratitude. We think of something to be happy
You have
for.
taught us this, our workshop, this prayer. I also use it. It's really great. Every time you eat, you really remember this fact that the world is amazing and what day it is today, and you should be grateful for what you have. It is really great. It is connected to food somehow, to meals, because when we have morning or evening, so prayer, so we eat quite often.
Prayer is just, even the word prayer is a funny one because people think of it in a spiritual way, but it's connection. It's connection to something beyond yourself. And the word I like to use is mystery. You don't have to think of it in any esoteric way or Think of it as a mystery, and just know that you're connected. You are connected to everything. And so the grace before you eat, it's just a little habit. And maybe it takes us 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute. And if we have a guest, in the prayer, it will always include them. It will always be, we welcome you to our home. We welcome you. We are in gratitude that you are with us this evening. And just something very simple, but it's
Use
all
your
these
own
things
words, yes.
are.
Use your own words.
Yeah. We used the ones we used at the workshop was just so everybody could understand, and so it was a ritual one. But the ones we do are always spontaneous and in our own words, and because we get busy in our lives, and we get so busy we forget the foundation of life is our connection with everything. And we must always bring it back that, because your connection with everything is what will bring you good fortune, is what will bring you health, that bring you success, bring you abundance. It is your connection that will do that. And the more that you can connect and feel the connection inside you, think the connection in your mind, speak of the connection with your words. I call it weaving the web, and that's the mind weaves the web, the energy web of all things. And I think of it as trillions of connections out there all over. And because I am connected, we're all connected, but because I know that I'm connected, because I sing of my connection, because I talk of my connection, because I pray with my connection, because I've made that connection, then the universe wants to come to me in all these wonderful ways, and it rewards us and will reward anybody that wishes to have that connection with it. It's on one level very, very simple, and on another level very deep and profound, but anybody can do it. Anybody.
I can listen to you for hours. It's like trance state, you know. I feel that I'm flying away a little bit. I also wanted to discuss with you one more very important topic for me. In your book, The Quantum Warrior, by the way, all the books I hear, The Quantum Warrior, Mind Power, Practical Course of Happiness, you talk about this technique by John Kehoe when he wrote out this check of abundance, of affluence, and sometimes in my blog we use it. I teach my girls to write out this check so that they really come true very fast. And when we went to your workshop, you mentioned that our subconscious likes different rituals, symbols. There is some play with it, something symbolic. So, and we have some techniques, and the most hurting thing is that very many people just laugh at me and say, "Are you serious? You are charging the wallet? I thought you need to work." And we really have these techniques at Ritual. When you take the wallet, you use the phone charger and you start charging it. You say, "I charge the wallet with this energy," and really money comes. How does it work? What is it? Is it really the way subconscious work, or is it just a coincidence? But it really works. It works, and I see the examples how it works for many years. So why Jim Carrey's technique works?
Are you asking me why does the subconscious, why imprinting in the subconscious works? Is that your question?
When we do these rituals, it works. Why does it work when we perform these rituals? Is it quantum physics? Why does it work? We perform different rituals to attract money. They're very simple. Really, we don't burn any candles, nothing like this, no voodoo dolls. We just use some rituals, some things like a wallet, the phone charger. We say out loud some phrase like, "Yes, we charge this wallet with energy of money," and they come. How does it work? Why does it work?
Well, it works because the language of the subconscious is symbols. And so when you create symbols, it is more powerful than simply words. And whether it's a vision board that you have, or whether it's an actual wallet that you imagine stuff coming into it, or a drawing like this, or a ceremony where you actually bring in objects and music and different cloth, or however you want to elaborate your ceremony, the more energy you can put into attracting that in a symbolic way, it speaks the language of the subconscious, and the subconscious is connected to the energy web of all things. So that is shifting your vibration and energy. That's always what you're trying to do, is shift your vibration and energy. And that's why, for example, how many times have I taught women who want to attract a meaningful relationship, and the men too, but I'll use a woman as an example, is the mistake a lot of people make in trying to attract a relationship to them is that they are focusing on what they want in the other person, and that's valuable, But what's more powerful is to imagine how lucky the person is that's going to get you. And just think about your qualities and what you will bring into this relationship, that when I find that right person, they are going to be so lucky.
I will cook for this person, I will take care of him like this?
Well, no, not like that. But I am a good cook. I am intelligent. I'm funny. I'm smart. I'm easy to get along with. Someone will love being
Girls,
with me.
you see, this is the technique you can use.
Yeah. And so then your vibration becomes, rather than, oh, I want somebody, I need somebody, please bring someone to me. It's like, who's going to be the lucky guy? Who's going to get me? Oh, he's so lucky. He must be doing many prayers right now to attract somebody like me.
The gratitude technique is a time-tested way to get what you want from the universe. Be grateful and your dreams will come true. Neurographics works just as effectively, and if you're interested in it and want to learn more, follow the link under the video, register, and join my free webinar.
Sylvia, you're drawing so beautifully, as if you've been doing it all your life. Just look, it's a professional picture. John is talking a lot, thank you so much because of that, and he just forgets to draw. But you're drawing as if you're an instructor of neurographics. Soon we will start coloring. John will finish rounding the corners. I have a question to you. Talking about symbols, do you believe that there are places in the world which are specifically powerful, like the places of power? And if you have such words or such places, can you share with us? For example, the Altai is an amazing place. People say that it's like another dimension. There is a huge mountain called Beluga. So in this place, I feel special power. Do you believe that there are some special places, churches, mosques, some cities or some other places which really possess particular power where you can come and get this energy?
The first thing that came to my mind when you mentioned symbols and powerful symbols, it would have to be the Aboriginal symbols of Australia, and in specific around Ayers Rock. The Aboriginals of Australia are pretty amazing. They talk about dream time, and they call it dream time, and they have dream lines that they follow, almost like this. And they somehow pick up on them energetically, and they call this reality dream time. And so when we were in Ayers Rock, this was a long time ago. I believe now they don't let people go into this area. It's that sacred. They've cut it off. They don't. But at that time, we were able to walk around, and we walked around this rock and we found a trail, and we came on this ledge, and under the ledge were some of the most energized symbols I'd ever seen in my life. And I almost knew what they meant without understanding them. It was more a vibrational energy. So the Aboriginals of Australia, very fascinating, and their whole dream time. And actually every ancient culture has its symbols that are very meaningful. And it's almost like when you tune into the vibrational frequency, you don't even have to be of that culture. A very wise shaman once said, he once taught us, he said, I asked him, I said, so how does a shaman know that this plant is good for your throat or this plant is good for your eyes? And he said, oh, it's very simple. The plant will tell you.
I, of course, would like to know more about it. Moreover, you mentioned at our workshop that you really got acquainted with this kind of people. They're special, yes?
They are. It's a different type of knowledge than our knowledge. It's not the same. It's a knowledge without language. It's a knowledge of symbols. It's a knowledge of tuning into the plant. The plant will tell you, this is what I'm used for. That's why shaman around the world, it doesn't matter if it's a shaman in Siberia or if it's a shaman in Africa or Australia or North America, that plant is used for the same thing everywhere in the world. How can that be?
Without even connecting to each other, they just know this knowledge, they just have it.
Yeah. Same thing with rocks, and it's connecting to nature. It's connecting, so it precedes language. It's so ancient, it precedes language. What did we have before language?
It's very interesting. I would like to learn these things. Do you think you're born with it or you can learn it?
I think everyone can learn it. I think everyone has it within themselves. You just have to find it within yourself.
One more question to John. This is a question that some of my followers wrote to me on my Telegram channel. What methods, rituals do you do every day? Is it a meditation? Or maybe you make a list of your goals? Or maybe you listen to the silence? What do you do every day that you really like and work with?
Very first thing, ritual, is go downstairs to make the coffee. And as I make the coffee, I think about my wife who's upstairs and how lucky I am to have her. And maybe a little treat comes up with the coffee, maybe a little croissant, maybe a little piece of fruit.
This is so sweet.
And so I bring it up and serve my wife. We sit down, we look out over the mountains and the oceans, and so that's the first ritual of the day. And every day I meditate, and the meditation, I call it active meditation, not passive. Passive meditation is to eliminate thoughts and just to be very, very peaceful, and that can be valuable. My meditation is active meditation, and my meditation is to relax into my connection with everything, and to just know that I am connected to everything. And it's not just me. I mean, we all are connected to everything, but most of us don't know that. Most of us don't think about it. I think about it every day. And I think about my connection, and I think how lucky I am to be connected, how lucky I am to know that I'm connected, how lucky that the intricate system of cause and effect operates in such a way that when I put a request out there, whether for success or money or health or whatever it is, when I put out a request and I repeat that request a number of times, it's like weaving the web with, it's like this loom that I'm weaving every day. I'm weaving the web. I'm weaving the cosmic web. And every day I weave the cosmic web. And that is my meditation, is to just weave the web with my thoughts and my beliefs, my gratitude, allowing the 100 trillion connections that go on out there to mysteriously and magically bring me all the gifts that I want and need and require in my life. And it does so in abundance. That's the word, abundance. Not little bits here and there, abundance. Knowing that I am a favored one because I have connected in such a way.
You know, I'm sitting here with you and I have this feeling of warmth that is spreading around the room. John, you have a number of interjections which you haven't curved. Shall I show you? Will you find yourself?
Yeah, please.
Here.
Okay.
One more here.
Okay. You see, I'm talking too much. That's what's going on.
Well, that is why we're here. That's why we wanted to invite you here, so that you are talking so much and so beautifully. Okay, let's do the following. There was one more. Yeah, here it is. And I have noticed one more at Silvia's. Silvia, shall I show you? Yeah, here it is. Yeah.
I saw it as soon as I looked down.
Okay, and now we are moving to the new stage. It's coloring. Well, actually, color matters. When, for example, once I was working with my weight and I lost some kilos. Some years ago, I weighted more than 100 kilos, and I spent so many years trying to lose it. Different ways, a lot of different stuff. So I was trying to lose weight. But one day I started to draw neurographics. I lost the weight and I keep it. But when we draw something and when it's talking about cutting down something, we use particular colors. When we talk about and draw some growth, we use different colors. It's special field in neurographics. But today, due to the fact that we're drawing gratitude, we will choose any colors as you wish. What is important? We need to connect by this color these sections, yes? We need to put them in some neural net, as if it's some abstract shape. We shouldn't split them in by different colors. We just need, let me show you. We just take some sections and we just color with one color. Maybe it's a circle, maybe it's some abstract figure, abstract shape. It shouldn't look like something, no. Just some space which we color with one color. And we take any colors we want and we start coloring. During this time, I will continue asking questions. I actually have a lot of them, and I'm trying to talk with you slower. Okay, let's start with the following. What book would you recommend to read? What book of yours, I mean, to start to learn your method? So I'm sure there is a person in our Russian-speaking space who still hasn't read any of your books. So which book would you read? By the way, guys, today we will have a giveaway, and you will have a chance to receive one of these books. So please comment below and with some insight perhaps, and you will have a chance to get the book by John. So which book shall we start with, or shall we start with some training?
I think the classic of all my books, I've written 6 books, and I think the classic one is The Subconscious Can Do Anything. I mean, that is that gives the basic foundation. It's a very simple one to understand, and I'm told there's 10 million copies of it in the Russian language. I know, it's incredible.
In Russian, only in Russian, so, just imagine around the world. Russia.
So that would be the first one to start with.
If we speak about the whole world, how many books are there?
In the whole world, probably about maybe 30 million books, have been sold worldwide.
It's fantastic.
I know, and it's just, I put this together almost 50 years ago in a little cabin in the woods, no electricity, no running water, just my ideas, and I had never dreamed it would.
Why? Why did you find yourself in this cabin in the wood? Was it like a conscious choice? You wanted to find some solitude and to think about the world, or what?
I was just led there. I followed what felt right. Something inside me said it is time for you to go to the woods and to be alone. And so I trusted that.
How did you spend these 3 years? Being absolutely alone?
No, I wasn't absolutely alone. I would be going about once a week. I would go into town and buy groceries and meet with friends, and so it wasn't like I never saw a person in the 3 years, but it was the alone time that was so valuable. And that's when I connected with the moon and with the ancestors and with nature and with my subconscious.
By the way, do you believe in these moon cycles, that there are some days which are more powerful than others, that full moon is a special day, or you don't take this into account somehow?
No, very much so. I believe in it. Very, very much so. Yeah. I love the moon. The moon is the ultimate symbol for me, because the moon goes through its cycles from crescent moon to half moon to full moon to half moon to crescent moon to new moon. And I love the cycles of the moon. And so the moon is a great symbol of change and movement. And that's what we need to all realize, is there's constant change and movement in life. Nothing stays the same. It doesn't matter what circumstance you're going through right now, it will change and shift into something new and different. And that's what the symbol of the moon is. That's why I love the moon so much.
It's a very deep thought. I feel a bit sad right now, so that everything will remain this. I like it like it's now. I have a question to Silvia. I wanted to ask you about food. Do you cook? Do you have some special eating habits? Does your eating habit influence your mindfulness, your consciousness? Do you have some secrets? And do you believe that when you cook, you also can put some intention into this? And we understand this intention better with food. For example, while cooking lunch, I wish all the best to the person I cook it for. The person will get it.
Well, cooking, I love to cook. I love to cook. And cooking is one of the most loving, nurturing things that you can do for anyone. It really, I really think when you make a meal, and if you put a lot of love in it and you cook it for just as John, when he brings the morning coffee, it is food for the soul. It's very nurturing. And so yes, I think food is very important. I love food. I love cooking for friends in our home. I love having dinner parties at our home, actually better than restaurants. I find they're much more intimate, a lot more fun. And regarding food, yeah, I think food is the basis of what keeps us healthy. I think regarding diet, I think it's very important to just listen to your body and what you need. I think your body always reveals to you what you need. I was a vegetarian for many years, and it was right for me at that time, but then came a time where my body was wanting more protein. And so I think it's important to listen to your body, and your body, when you're connected to your body, it will always reveal to you what it wants. I think the one thing that I kind of need to watch is sugar. I find my body likes it, but I know it's not that good for my body, so I kind of try to stay away from it a little bit.
My body asks for sugar all the time.
That's right. Well, it's very addictive. It's one of the most addictive substances. Yeah, no, it's like yeah, sugar is nice and the body likes it. So that's the one thing that I try to watch is I try to manage my sugar intake.
Do you believe in kind of austerity or land? So sometimes, for example, I make a wish, I cut down or cut out something, and then this wish comes true. What is your attitude towards this, to this mechanism? And is there some explanation to such kind of?
Fasting or what, I don't.
It's like a contract with the world. I promise not to drink alcohol, or I promise not to eat sweets, and I have a request, and it's like fasting. In Russian, we call it something like austerity. Maybe in English you have a different name, but you really consciously say no to something for the sake of your wish.
I think fasting or having austerity is a good practice because it shows who's in control. It shows that, okay, I can do this. I can stop having sugar for a month. I can stop doing this for a month. I think it really it exhibits that you have ultimate control over your body, and in terms of having a contract, in terms of like, if I do this, then this will happen. I've never tried that, but I do like fasting and things like that because it just kind of, it's good for the body to stop giving it food all the time and let it catch up. But
Wow, great job. You do everything well. You really got what you need to do. Well, of course, the main question, and we ask Silvia to draw with us actually, because Silvia doesn't always agree on these experiments. How to keep relationship, being in a marriage for 30 years, and as John said, fall in love again with your partner, even stronger than on your wedding day.
Okay, so.
Okay, I will even stop coloring.
Okay, I was just going to color this whole blue thing here. Okay, where to start?
I'm sorry for interrupting. Now, in Russia, there is a very terrible statistics. There is 103 divorces for 100 marriages. So 103% of people get divorced. So there are very, very few couples who manage to keep together, who really want to know what is so important.
Okay, firstly, I must say it's important that you start off with a good match. A good match for you, that you, as we discussed earlier, that you are a good match for each other, that you can make each other happy for the rest of your life. I think that's important because I think in a marriage, in a good marriage, it's important that you make yourself happy, but also you make the other person happy. And their happiness is as important to you as your own happiness. And in a long-term marriage, that takes compromise. That takes compromise. No matter what happens, good, bad, whatever, that you can work it out because the love that's underneath is foundationally there. But it's marriage changes over 30 years. There's different types. At the beginning, when you first are married, it's very romantic and passionate, and then there's another something else that comes in, and it's usually when you decide to build a life together, and it's either you have children or you start a business, and that changes the marriage. All of a sudden, there's a common goal in the marriage, and then after that there's a third marriage actually that happens, and that is it's more of a spiritual marriage. It's more of a devotional marriage, and as John shared, it's beyond just, it's not just two people in the marriage. There's the marriage between the two partners, but then you're also in service to the marriage. And I'm just trying to think if there's like a secret. I would say.
Okay, what is important? You say you need to find a person who is your match. how to understand that. For example, we've been together with my husband for 17 years, but every 2-3 days we have some rows, we argue. I don't know whether it's good or bad. We do have love, we have children. How shall I understand? How should I understand whether the fact that we have arguments is a good thing, is just a way of development, or should I have found another person who I would never have any arguments with?
That's a very good point. Let me add that. We make a mistake in coming into relationships wanting them to be perfect. And we think the relationship should be perfect in every way. We have great sex, we love each other, we have common interests, there's never any problems or difficulties. And especially in the first 6 months, we have what we call a projection on the person. When you fall in love, they are so amazing, so great, they're everything that I could possibly want in my life. And you must get beyond that projection. Always very dangerous the first 6 months, because you've made that person into some perfect person. Much healthier when that disappears, changes, and you go, oh my God, it's a real person with faults, and he's not perfect or she's not perfect. Actually, that allows you to love them more. That allows you to love them deeper, because you're not loving this idealistic concept in your mind. You're loving a real person with faults and problems and difficulties. And so, in the relationship, and as you grow in your relationship, you give the person permission to not be perfect, and to allow them to have faults and idiosyncrasies, because you have them, you know, and none of us is perfect. So when you can allow the relationship to have its problems and difficulties, and yet still be a good relationship. It doesn't have to be a perfect relationship, it just has to be a good one. And for Silvia and I, it's like we have Silvia, we have myself, but then we have the marriage. So there's 3 involved. And for both of us, the marriage is the third part of the marriage. And so we both work to make the marriage work, not just to please each other.
Okay, I have good news for you. There is no goal to color the whole sheet of paper, because white is also a color. And when you leave this space white, you actually give the universe the opportunity to create some new scenario, to manifest some new scenario, which we don't know about. So you use as much color as you wish. You are artists today. If you want, you can stop. If you want, you can continue. But I decided to speak about it right now because I feel that that's enough for me. I really want to have these empty places. I still want to come back to this conversation about marriages. So, Liz, what marriage has more chances to last for 30 years? The marriage when there are no arguments, or the marriage where there are arguments but people are able to forgive each other?
The one that I would be frightened of is the marriage with no arguments, because that means you're not being honest with one another. And an argument doesn't have to be shouting back and forth. It doesn't have to be a big blowout, but there must be an honesty and an expression of when I am not being served, or when I'm being disrespected, or when I'm not being heard. You have to be able to express that. There has to be honest communication between you. And Silvia and I, we have a little thing that we don't ever go to bed without resolving our difficulty. So if we have a problem, we talk about it. Maybe we're upset with each other over dinner, that's fine. But by the time we go to bed, we have to resolve it. Even if we don't
have you ever been in such
a particular
situation that you
problem.
haven't slept for 3 days? Because for 3 days,
Yeah.
for me and my husband, it would be impossible.
Yeah, no. Even if we don't resolve it, we can say, we have not figured out.
We agree not to agree.
We agree not to agree, but we still love each other. That's the thing.
You can do. It's possible to do it like this. It's a life hack.
Yeah. It's possible to still love each other and disagree. Yes.
I would like to learn how to do that. Me and my husband have a little bit different agreement. Every new day we forget about the previous argument. So yes, we can go to bed together, but the next day we imagine that everything is okay. But actually, I like your approach to go to bed only when we agree on the fact that we disagree, but we still love each other. It's a good life hack. But it explains a lot, by the way. When I was younger, I thought that the perfect marriage is when people just don't get any arguments. People just match each other so well that they're just perfect together. And they don't have any conflicts, and they're so calm and peaceful, and in this way they can live together for 30 years.
Well, every marriage is different, too. That's another important. In your younger years, you have an image of what you think a marriage should be, and that restricts us because no two marriages are the same. There's billions of marriages. No two are the same, and you work out your own agreements. You work out what's important for each of you, and you always respect each other. Always respect. That's important.
Okay, wonderful. Silvia is ready. It's all purple. Great.
Ooh, look at that. Nice.
If you let me, if I may ask, it's quite a private question, quite personal question. What presents do you give each other? What ways do you have to keep the romance in your family?
Very, very simple little gifts. Little gifts of a card, maybe a little note, a little love note. But nothing, the biggest gifts are not the expensive, elaborate gifts. The most precious ones are
A single flower.
Yeah, a single flower, like Silvia says. Something very, very simple.
Mind you, diamonds are nice too. Those are sometimes the most precious. You know, big gifts are extravagant and they're nice and they're wonderful, but the most precious gifts are the ones
Yikes.
that are in the moment and just simple little things.
Okay, now you need to take this thick felt pen. We're finishing our pictures. What we need to do, we call it the line of the field. This is exactly the line. This is the line of the universe, like the line of the God. This is the line which we will draw across the whole piece of paper. It should be thick. It can cross the current existing lines, or you can, from one edge to another, you need to draw this line and it gives this energy to this picture. It's like external energy. It's the energy of space, of some mystery. And it's the energy that fills your picture, your drawing, with energy. You see, it really should be very noticeable. And it can go in any direction. When it crosses and overlaps other shapes and lines, again, we round the corners. It is a question now to John and Sylvia. Do you have some dreams which still haven't come true? These are the dreams that you've been working for many years, maybe, or something new, but you still believe that they will come true. Do you have such dreams? Do you think there is like expiration date?
I will speak only for myself. Sylvia can speak for herself, but my dreams have all come true. I'm 77. I have work that stimulates me. I have a wife who I am in love with, and more every day. I'm connected to the universe in a very deep and intimate way. And I'm excited about life and growing and doing new and different things all the time. So I feel like my life is, not that I don't have new goals, but I have exceeded everything that I have wanted to do. My life is very joyous.
I think it's a dream of every person who is watching this interview now, being 77, here giving this interview, that everything I have dreamt about has come true. I think it's amazing. Silvia, what about you? About dreams?
I think every phase of your life, you make new dreams for yourself. And I feel myself coming into a new phase of my life. I'm going to be 65 very soon. I definitely feel a shift within me. I feel very blessed that I can basically do whatever I want. And so my dream right now is to really feel into what it is that wants to manifest itself, because I really believe that when you're in the flow of things, what is meant to happen will happen. So I'm almost in a place of not knowing right now, but I know that my dream will fulfill itself, and I feel very blessed that I'm in a place where I can allow that to happen.
Amazing. After this workshop, this 5-day workshop where we have just come back from, we spent these days with John, and I also have changed a lot. And for the first time in my life, I don't want to set any specific goals. I really want everything what the universe has for me would come as a surprise. This is something similar that Silvia is talking about. Actually, right now, I understand what Silvia is talking about, because before, I actually couldn't understand how is that not to make any not to make any dreams, not to set any goals, and now I'm ready for surprise from the world. Okay, we have drawn this line of the field, and the last thing we need to do here, finishing this drawing, we need to find, just with your gut feeling, some circle. You need to use and make it thicker with some shape. You can use triangle, square, basically, and circle, but I recommend you to use circle because it's a gratitude. So you just make the line thicker. Just choose some circle that you have already drawn and make the circle thicker. It's a kind of fixation. And the last question for today. I know that many people start reading your books, start taking your courses, and when something doesn't work at first, like very fast, they just give up and they just don't come back to it. It's not only about your books, it's just general pattern. They try, it doesn't work, and they give up. From your experience, you know that you've been doing it for many years. From your experience, how much time does a person need when he or she would really see some changes, and they will really observe these changes into their lives? When I started learning English, my teacher told me, when you need to get to the next level, you need 200 hours. And then I realized that it's not me who is stupid, I just need 200 hours. So, in your experience, how much time does a person need that the life would start to change with the use of your techniques?
It can happen very quickly. It can happen for some people literally within a few weeks. But to see very noticeable changes where you know I'm doing it right, I'm on the right path, good things are happening to me, usually between, I would say, 60 to 90 days.
So just only 60-90 days.
Yeah. If you're following the program exactly as outlined in the online training, as I say, some people will very quickly. You should notice some changes even within weeks, but dramatic changes usually 60 to 90 days.
It's really cool. Dear friends, I will remind you that in the description of the videos you will have the link. There will be link to the John's channel, and you will link to my channel. Everything will be in the description. John, Sylvia, what do you like? What do you feel about neurographics? John, you need to draw this round. You need to choose this fixation.
Do I have a circle?
You need to choose. You need just to highlight it to make it like thicker.
Okay,
just take already the one that you have already drawn.
Yeah.
Silvia, what do you think about neurographics?
I feel peace of mind right now. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's a very, and which is one of the most, probably the thing that almost all of us want to achieve is peace of mind. What is more important than that?
John, what about you? What do you think about neurographics, our drawings? Do you think there is a chance of this method to make all other people interested in it?
Yes, I think it has its value. It has gone beyond my conscious mind. So I don't know yet. I feel something stirring, but I don't know what it is yet. But yeah, it's very, very meditative.
Thank you so much. I want to thank you really that you made time, first of all, to me and to people who are watching this video now. There are not so many people in our Russian-speaking internet, opportunities to see you. An amazing conversation. It was an amazing experience. This energy that today we actually all got here. So it was very pleasant for me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thank you for inviting us. And we welcome the opportunity to share your work with others and our work with others too. So it is all of great value.
It was wonderful, Nastya. Thank you.
Thank you. My dear friends, so your likes and your comments are from your kind words. Bye-bye.